JRPGs that were actually stretching the boundaries of what the formula could be and actually progressing a little bit by stealing BioWare's ideas, but still, like the ones that were doing that were not really played until the very end of the PS2 era. And then, of course, what was the big preoccupation for most of the seventh console generation? By the time the 360 launched and the PS3 launched, everybody's asking for a new Shin Megami Tensei game, right? Like, where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? You know what I mean? But it was like they didn't even realize this was even a fucking series until the end of the PS2, until that fucking format was done.
And what's retarded about it is, like, I've come across a lot of people that are like, I'm a big Persona fan. And I'm like, oh, are you? Well, tell me all about your experience. Well, I love Persona 4. What else? There's others? Like, no, no, there's no other fucking... They got a fourth entry for fun. That was their first...
No, it's... Dude, it's Final Fantasy VII syndrome in full effect.
It is, and what's fucked up is I like Persona 4 a lot. It is a fantastic game, but it kills me that the games have been around since, like, fucking Super Nintendo. And nobody's played, like, the ones on PlayStation 1, which you can still get on PSN.
Well, yeah, now you know what it's like to be an Elder Scrolls fan.
Yeah.
Fucking, there are games before Skyrim and Oblivion?
Dude, no shit. Like, I've had that conversation multiple times because, I mean, like, I was playing on my PC a lot in the 90s, like a whole fucking bunch, and I still remember going to my friend Sean's house, which Sean, if you're listening, hello. But anyhow, I went to his house, and that's where I got to play Daggerfall for the first time and got to experience it, and then we'd make, like, in jokes, like, about this game at school, and people are looking at us funny, and we're just laughing our asses off because it's hilarious, and then go all the way up, and Morrowind, it started making it big, and then after that, it fucking boomed. Yeah. And it was just like Oblivion, Skyrim, that's when it fucking boomed, but people act like there was no games before that, and they were like, most people don't even know it's called Elder Scrolls. Yeah. They think it's just called motherfucking Skyrim.
They do.
And they don't even notice, like, there's a Roman numeral there. And they're like, Roman numeral? I thought it just said V. Like,
oh, dude, that reminds me. I'm doing the Death Wish month, speaking of which, on my fucking channel, right? And one of the things you notice about Death Wish 2 is that it's a Roman numeral, right?
Yeah.
But Death Wish 3 is just a number.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, going back to your point about Roman numerals, during the market research for Death Wish 3, yes, they actually did that for Death Wish 3, they've discovered that over half of the population of the United States, and this was in 1985, were incapable of reading Roman numerals. So that answers your question on Skyrim right there.
And what's really sad is, I'm not even kidding, a lot of people learned what Roman numerals were because of the Super Bowl logos.
That's true.
Or the year that some motion pictures were made.
Dude, it kind of fucks me up to think that that's how people are learning. Like, I was taught this in grade school. I'm 30. Grade school. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, full-grown adults? Like, it just, holy shit. Well, that's okay. I still, since we were talking about RPGs, Final Fantasy games, which use Roman numerals, I do legitimately remember coming across people who, they didn't know fuck all about Final Fantasy, but they were like, have you ever played that Final Fantasy VII? Like, what did you just say to me? Like, I felt offended about my entire life. Like, they said that, like, VII. And just, I was surprised that they were breathing and speaking at the same time without some kind of fucking, like, rip in time happening. I was just like, holy shit.